Unanabagola. Our very distinguished chairman of this occasion, His Excellency, Ebichukiwe, Omo of Anyoma, His Royal Majesty, ambassadors, our very revered President of ADF, Mama ADF, all the very distinguished members of ADF, our guests, ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to speak in English so that I can hasten my presentation. You can see the Omo has gotten up twice and sat down. Every nation has been developed by its people. Even nations that have been conquered and its people dispersed were rebuilt by their people. The city of Jerusalem in the times of Nehemiah was rebuilt by the people of Judah who were in exile. Until 1945, the modern state of Israel was non-existent in the world map. But it took the combined efforts of the Jews in diaspora to build the modern state and work to get it granted the status of an independent state by the United Nations in 1948. Since then, Israel has dwelt among difficult and mostly enemy nations, some like Iran that will wish that it be wiped out from the face of the earth. Yet, Israel has won all the wars and remained the most formidable and prosperous nation. All these have happened because of the patriotic determination of its peoples in the diaspora. When you look closely at Ndi Igbo, our gates got bombed and our walls got broken during the Nigeria-Biafra war. And ever since, we have largely been waiting for those who glibly said, "No victor, no vanquished," to come and repair our gates and rebuild our walls. We have seen that it has not happened because, as time has shown, they were not sincere with that declaration. It was essentially a statement made in euphoria of the unexpected surrender of Biafra. That statement could have only been as true as the recent one. I belong to nobody. I belong to everybody. But we will now know he belongs to the Fulani herdsmen. The consequences of thinking that somebody will rebuild and develop Ndi Igbo for us, while we concentrated in developing other lands, as Omo very rightly presented, and places within Nigeria and outside, stare us on the face. Dilapidated infrastructure, squalor, unemployment, poverty, armed robbery, kidnapping, 419, and prostitution. Now, as if that was not bad enough, Ndi Igbo have become the butt of good jokes in Nigeria. And not long ago, we were threatened with genocide, mass drowning in the Atlantic Ocean, if we dare to express our constitutionally granted rights to vote according to our conscience. Every day, investments and business in other lands are threatened, and we are either blackmailed or extorted to have freedom to do business in several parts of Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, this situation cannot continue this way. Recently, we were told by the Sultan of Sokoto that our travels in Nigeria, including the organized hatred and genocide against our people, is because we are an industrious people. So, must we then turn Ndi Igbo to a nation of beggars and unemployed people? What of the truth told us by the Arewa youths, as if they were looking for an excuse to tell us first that we are the troublemakers in Nigeria, and that the property that we owned belonged to them, and that they had taken an inventory of all our assets, waiting for us to depart. Welcome, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, to this bold attempt to organize and galvanize Ndi Igbo to begin a deliberate effort to reverse this trend. We must stop following the least line of resistance, which seems to be the migration and immigration to Lagos, Abuja, Kano, London, Houston, Atlanta, etc. Let all Igbo businessmen and women, professionals, and all economic agents take deliberate steps to make an investment at home, no matter how small, an office, a warehouse, a depot, a branch, a farm, or a factory. We are pleased that the Ndi Igbo Development Foundation has begun the implementation of its strategies to help with the rebuilding and development of Ndi Igbo and the rebirth and advancement of the spirit of our culture and civilization. Ndi Igbo and several fora have generally agreed to proceed with taking responsibility for the rebuilding of Igbo land and to help restore it to a nation of happy and clean people without unemployment, without drunkards, without prostitutes, and without beggars, as envisioned by Olaudah Equiano way back in the 18th century. We are determined to assert ourselves and claim our rightful position. The ADF, consequent on its formation in 2014, after the international colloquium on the Igbo question in Nigeria, elected to play significant roles to assist the ongoing efforts at different levels through intellectually driven courses and actions. That's why we differ from most. We do whatever we do based on research, intellectual work, and I think that's why we're able to feed Ohanese, feed other groups with this kind of work. Our desire to institute change in both the physical, spiritual, and psychological components of our Ndi Igbo through a coherent strategy that is research-based, that builds on the great work already done and continues to be done by other individuals and groups that are committed to the Ndi Igbo vision, starting with the prime Ndi Igbo organization, Ohanese Ndi Igbo, and including others like Aki Kenga, Ndi Igbo Lagos, World Igbo Congress, the World Igbo Summit, etc. Has been aptly described by Honorary Secretary. To achieve our goals, the ADF is working through committees and task forces that work with other Pan-Igbo organizations to start and restart the march to our destiny. Some of these committees have been mentioned: business development and investment promotions, promoting the Think Home, Invest Home strategy, Akurulo. This committee has since gone to work, and the Akurulo Pathfinders signal that were given to the first set of recipients in 2017 as part of the effort to push for a new wave of investment in Ndi Igbo in order to create jobs and alleviate poverty. The Business Development Investment Committee has also gone ahead to record recent developments that have been done by Igbo, especially those in the diaspora. We have a recorded documentary of all that is going on in many parts of the Igbo land, from Delta through rivers and to all the other 5 southeastern states. And today we are beginning to present this document and this documentary to our businessmen in focal groups in Abuja, in Lagos, and in Kano, as to the fact that we do not want to wait till everything was right, till all the roads were built, the delight was stable. People are doing great things now, to our utter surprise. When we did a tour of Anambra State to look at the industrial sector, we were embarrassed to see what was going on in Onitsha. That some people put up a brewery. What they planned to sell in 2020, they had sold in 2016. And this plant broke even in 6 months. That's my first time, both in literature and in practice, to see a manufacturing firm break even in 6 months. And it's in Ndi Igbo. So what are we waiting for outside? What are we thinking that things are not right in our home? We're beginning to show this to our men, and I need to report to this conference, which is our 4th attempt, that we are beginning to see a reversal. It is not a matter of just talk. Action is happening. Investments are growing. The investment which Chicostaris put up in Anambra State derived from this. And that's why it was one of those we put as pathfinders, and many others who are not here today. And our job is to continue to push in this area so that we can measure our progress and report progress, to encourage others that the days of we can't come because of kidnappers, we can't come because of this, that day, those days are gone. Many of these states are changing for the better. As been talked about, we have the Federal Career Committee that is aimed at pursuing fair representation of Ndi Igbo in the federal government, including ministries, agencies, and departments. With adequate data, we plan to engage the Nigerian government to ensure that Ndi Igbo are given their due positions in the federation. Additionally, we promote and adopt other strategic moves to ensure that we position our manpower to compete favorably for top positions in the bureaucracy. We've spoken about the Census Committee, and their job is so critical so that Ndi Igbo are no longer changed in the forthcoming national census. We intend to ensure an unusual awakening of our people to the need to have every Igbo counted. Never again shall we allow our numbers to be downgraded by either our indifference or inability to be vigilant. Igbo language and culture is pursuing the preservation and resurgence of the Igbo language and culture. Already the committee has initiated work on the translation of some of Chinua Achebe's works into Central Igbo. The Constitution Review Committee has pursued and continued to coordinate the position on the abrogation and or amendment of the 1999 Constitution with a view to ensuring our interests are protected in the new Constitution. Right now, the committee has linked up with other groups within and outside Igbo to present our position on the need for a new Constitution and also the restructuring as a prelude to this. We have the Political Accountability Committee. This committee works with other non-governmental agencies to hold ourselves first and our political leaders accountable to our people. We intend to discourage all political behavior that is inimical to the rebuilding and development of our Igbo. We also plan to raise support for all political office holders who are mistreated for working for the good of Ndi Igbo. Professor Awuzie is here. He knows the work we've done in Imo. Today, we showed that we can confront our own people. As he said, ask ourselves questions. It's not saying, without demeaning what we are seeing from Nigeria and the mistreatment, but internally, we also have to hold ourselves responsible. And for once, we confronted Imo government, and we are doing that in all states to make sure that we hold our people accountable for the money they collect and what they owe Ndi Igbo. We've talked about international and strategic committees. There are many of them, administrative committees that enable the smooth function of ADF. All of these organs are being charged with specific and measurable goals, which are in tandem with the overarching Ndi Igbo vision and the ADF mission. We have also determined that without sustainable funding, neither the committees nor ADF will achieve the ambitious goals. Hence, the decision to establish a trust fund that will help to energize the accomplishment of these lofty goals. To assure full accountability, the ADF has established, as our secretary mentioned, a management committee to manage the funds. And we believe this will inspire confidence and ensure sustainability so that the great work ahead of Ndi Igbo can proceed without the usual challenges of insufficient funding or depending on a single source or falling into the hands of those who wish to manipulate the organization for narrow and perhaps selfish interests. The committee, as we know, is chaired by Most Reverend Maxwell Anikwenwa, retired Archbishop of the province of the Niger. Other members include royalties like Igwe Agubusu, chairman of the Enugu Council of Traditional Rulers, and Igwe Raf Epe, Eze, Enugu Nanri, na Igwe of Umonri. Others are Dr. Dozie Kedife, President General of Ndi Igbo, past, and Chairman of Board of ADF, Professor Uzodimma Nwala, President ADF, Honorable Mrs. Maria Okwo, President of Igbo Women Assembly, Elder Dr. Melazu, former DG Man, Chief Innocent Nwoga, former Minister of Environment and former SSG Imo State, Professor Barton Naji, former Minister of Power and Chairman of Geometric Power, Mr. Frank Neji, Chairman of ABC Transport and Abga gubernatorial candidate, and Mazi Ohuabunwa, former Chairman of the Nigeria Economic Summit Group. It is an extreme pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to have this distinct crop of revered Igbo leaders accept this assignment to lead a change in financial accountability in Pan-Igbo organization. As earlier mentioned, we have had a unique opportunity to recognize some Igbo leaders who have blazed the trail in bringing wealth home at rural through making investment at home. During our search to determine those to receive this recognition last year, we were pleasantly surprised that a significant number of our people have already embraced this call to bring investments into our Igbo. The recipients of the accrual Pathfinder's insignia for last year were only some of those who deserve the honor. It has intention to make this an annual recognition event, and those who missed out last year because of limitations will be honored in subsequent years. Our hope is that this kind of recognition will spur many other Igbo leaders in all spheres of endeavor to take deliberate actions to bring investments into Igbo, industries, depots, branches, schools, hospitals, professional offices, etc. I am thoroughly excited that we've arrived at this point in our renewed effort to achieve Igbo Renaissance. For sure, it will take a lot of time, not 4 years, a lot of efforts, a lot of meetings, a lot of travels, a lot of negotiation, a lot of lobbying, and a lot of media work and advocacy. And will take a whole lot of money. That's why we will continue to call on all to support our efforts to raise funds that will enable us to help move the Igbo agenda and vision in or outside Nigeria as God will allow. Mr. Chairman, let me join the ADF leaders to welcome you and all the excellencies, your majesties, your highnesses, chiefs, Nzenozo, Ohaneze, to this epochal event. I believe that our God will reward all the sacrifice you have made and will make that you have made and will make to support this initiative and others that will lead us to our manifest destiny. I believe that there is role for state governments to play, and that's why in this kind of occasion we are always embarrassed that we do not have them, because they need to create roles in helping to provide the enabling environment and making land easily accessible for people who want to put up businesses. What role should the traditional community leaders play in making the communities peaceful and safe for investment? We're happy that the community leaders are here, traditional rulers are here, and the Omo was the first to donate a piece of land for us where we plan to build an Igbo unity home someday in Ohuabunwa. These are some of the, thank you. These are some of the issues that will continue to be discussed in these and other meetings and conferences of ADF. Our vision needs repeating. That is to restore Igbo nation to what it looked like in the 19th century, when Olaudah Ekwuano described it as a nation of happy, clean people, without unemployment, without prostitution, without drunkards, and without beggars. I don't know whether you can envisage the new Igbo heartland, an Igbo that looks like this. That's what we're looking at, and with your support, we shall get there. God bless you.